For you, this is probably after the Discord ideas episode, but for me, I'm recording that last. So, I've just recorded the Aztec episode. So now we're doing Ankylosaurs, and I'm actually excited about this one because I finally came up with a way to make Ankylosaurs better without breaking them. Because I kept, like, first attempt, I forgot my arrow. First attempt, I just tried, okay, let's just, we'll click on it later. My first attempt was just to give them bleed resistance and give them a damage boost. But the damage boost was like, it made them too powerful because of the vulnerability. So then I thought, okay, we'll just keep the resistance. And then I realized, oh wait, I didn't change them at all. I just gave them a bleed resistance. But finally, I found a way to make them better without breaking them. And let's start with Ankylosaurus Gen 2. Okay, now, first of all, I just boosted all Ankylosauruses. My rule now is that all Ankylosauruses need to have at least 40% armor. They cannot have any less than that, unless it's like there's a hybrid and there's like an exception to that. But all the vanilla Ankylosaurs need that 40%. Because Doedicurus can have 50%, all Ankylosaurs should at least have 40. Now, let's see. Everything else is the same. These abilities are all the same. Oh, wow. Why did I boost your attack that much? Maybe it's because you're a common and it's like you kind of need that damage boost. But anyway, here's the kicker. Here's the real one. Bone Break. Which is like... what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. If you watched the Aztec episode, then you'll know that I added this ability to Ankylosaurus. And here it is. Now I'm going to go into depth with it. On a target escapee, impose vulnerability for this turn, 1 attack, and then deal an attack. And then rally heal by 10%. So basically, the enemy will be vulnerable first, and then it will deal a damage. So it won't deal 1250. It'll deal like whatever the amount of damage, like probably over 1500. And then it'll also heal itself by a little bit. So what I wanted to do was like basically, since these guys are obviously made to be the core raiders, and I'm like, okay, we can keep that. But I also want these guys to be a little better in solo combat. So, Bone Break is the way to do it, because Titanoboa is also pretty good in raids, and it has on escape. So I thought, let's apply that same principle here. You can still be used in raids, but then this ability won't be useful in raids, and it's only useful when you enter single player. So, yeah. Basically, don't run away from the Ankylosaurus, because it's gonna break you. Maybe I should give it a little... maybe I should rework it. I didn't want to rework its abilities too much because I could have reworked it so it would give you a better reason to try and run away from it. But I decided, nah, let's keep it the way it is. This is okay. We don't want it to be OP. We just want it to be better. Oh, also I gave them taunt resistances, and I gave them bleed resistance. Some are immune depending on their health, but it basically all just depends on their health. Now, next one, Euplocephalus, which has I think it has the worst health of all the Ankylosaurs. It does have it also had the worst attack, actually. I had to boost it to just 1000 to be better. Superior vulnerability, vulnerable taunting rampage, which is basically just taunt for 1 turn. Impose vulnerability for this turn, 1 attack, and then I might have to change that. I might have to make it so the vulnerable impose vulnerable. I might have to change that so the vulnerable comes after the rampage, but I think my idea was that these guys have pathetic damage, so it's like, sure, why not? For this turn, 1 attack. Oh, okay. So basically, I'll just make the enemy vulnerable and then deal like 3000 damage, or 2500 damage. I don't know how much vulnerable does. I don't know the math for it. It's not like, anyway, whatever. Bone Break also here, and resistances. It is immune to bleed because that's a very small amount of HP. So it's like, what? Yeah. Now you're thinking the Tortoise also has this stats, but it has like 60% armor. So it's like, yeah, keep this. Keep that bleed resistance, for crying out loud. Okay, moving on. I think there's one other. Let me move this out of the way. Where is? Oh, I see. You can see some stuff for the future. I got some future things in mind. Scolosaurus. Did I give you a health boost? I don't remember. I did give you an armor boost. Like, quite a bit, actually. Wow, that's a lot of armor. Way more than the others. Swap in defense, taunting rampage, superior vulnerability, bone break, bleed resistance, taunt resistance. That's pretty much the way I went around with the Ankylosaurs. Here is Nodosaurus, the only rare Ankylosaur that I'm aware of. No, it is the only rare Ankylosaur. See, at Ludia, add more Ankylosaurs. I know the reason they don't add as many dinosaurs is because they don't want to add, like, they could just add every single Triceratopsian into the game, but then we'd have like 100 swap-in stunners, and I don't think anyone wants that. But it's like, then you have things like Nodosaurus. It's the only rare Ankylosaur, so make more Ankylosaurs. Add Cycenia. Make her, I mean, obviously Cycenia deserves to be an epic, but we already have too many epic Ankylosaurs. But I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they added more epic Ankylosaurs, since they don't really affect the meta too much. But it's like, seriously, just add more Ankylosaurs. I love these things. I mean, do I love? Yeah, I do. I just really like the way they're supposed to be invincible, and I really hate the way media treats them now as weak and pathetic. Especially Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2. But enough about that. Boosted armor, boosted crit chance. What the heck? Why'd I do that? Superior vulnerability, cleansing decelerating impact. Oh. Yeah, when did I guess. Okay, that makes sense. Group taunting shields, bone break, and then all the usual resistances. This one's a little less because you do have quite a fair amount of HP. And then there is another one. I actually added my own rare Ankylosaur, Edmontonia, which I'm biased for because, like, it's probably a Canadian dinosaur. It's like Edmonton. It's like Edmontosaurus and Albertosaurus, all from Alberta. Anyway. Superior vulnerability, 40% armor, just like all the Ankylosaurs. Vulnerable taunting rampage, as I've mentioned before. Taunting shields, bone break, resistances. You're exactly the same as the Nodosauruses, except you have less speed, more attack. More health, and less of a crit chance. Okay, cool. Here's a crazy thing. All the epic Ankylosaurs start with an A. Well, actually, a B. But you're an Ankylosaur, so you technically start with an A as well. So it actually makes it easier to find them. Let's start with the main man himself, the Ankylosaurus. Stats are the same, except I boosted your armor to the highest one because the tortoise has 60%, you have 50%. You're like half of your body is covered in armor, so you should have at least 0.5% of armor. That just makes sense to me. I mean, I get it that it's like vulnerable on the underside, but it's like I want the armor stat. It's like 30% armor, Stegosaurus can have that now. So it's like, yeah, give you the benefit, make you more desirable. As for your abilities, though, I wanted to keep these the way they are because it's like you're an important raid creature. But then it's like, it doesn't make you too useful. So maybe you are deserving of a damage buff, like 1300 at least. You do have bone break, which makes you a little easier. A little better to use, but I do want this thing to be more directed towards raid. So I think really I just boost the damage on this thing. I gave you a small resistance because you do have a lot of HP. And a taunt resistance. Are you already immune to taunt? I don't remember. Anyway, let's move on to my favorite, Bumpy. Now, of course, I could have gone all out and just made Bumpy all powerful. Indominus did it. He gave Bumpy like 1,000,000 of stats of everything, but it's like, it's like Bumpy in the show is actually pretty weak. So, no need to buffer too much. Of course, I did boost the armor, just like I said before. All of your abilities are the same. I did give you bone break and a bleed resistance. Well, that's actually a pretty generous one, considering your HP. But then, again, I kept your deceleration the way it is, and I kept your taunt at only half, for some reason. So it's like a little more risky for raids. Nothing too special, but I guess that will go into like your hybrid because you have one now, and I have actually covered that in this episode. Now let's go to Antarctopelta, the one I was actually really excited for because it's like, I love Antarctopelta and I love the colors on this thing. It looks so cool. You have the worst HP, so I probably made you, oh, I did not. Why didn't I make you immune to bleed despite the fact that you have the least amount of HP out of any Ankylosaur? Come on, Zane, pull your brain together. 40% armor, superior vulnerability, taunt, all your abilities. Oh no, I changed instant ferocity because instant ferocity is a pretty bad move. Actually, it's an okay move, but it's like I prefer a ferocious strike, a group ferocity strike. So you're more useful in raids now. And bone break because that's an Ankylosaur. Actually, do you even need a bone? How can you have bone break when you don't have a club tail? That was the whole point of the bone break, that it has. They would turn around and use their club tail, but you don't have that. Maybe I should remove it from you and Nodosaurus just because of that, but it's like I don't want to, because I don't want you to be just considered worse. Maybe I'll keep it in there for now, but in future I might remove it and replace it with something else. Maybe like On Escape Dust Cloud or something. And now, the only epic Ankylosaur hybrid, Ankylosaurus, which has superior vulnerability, group decelerating impact. Oh, did I change anything on you? I gave you this, and I gave you that, and I gave you that. Oh, 50%, wow, that's generous. 50% damage resistance because, sorry, bleed resistance because of the health. Taunt, no, you were already immune to taunt, weren't you? Anyway, yeah, I didn't do too, did I? I think I removed your counterattack. Sorry about that, buddy. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I did. Ankylosaurus, everybody. And Kentrosaurus is next. Again, I'm still thinking you could be, like, you and Traegosaurus, your hybrid, could be a key ingredient to, like, actually, you're a key ingredient to Ultimasaurus eventually. But I do think you are a pretty useful, what's the word I'm looking for? Useful for raids, yeah, you're used in a lot of raids, actually. You actually already have 40% armor, so stats are the same. Gave you, did I give you any new abilities? I don't think, I gave you Vulnerable Taunting Rampage over whatever you had before. Medium Resilient Counterattack, Bone Break, so you have some use in, like, single player. And then I gave you a bleed and taunt. Actually, you're already immune to taunt. I just gave you the bleed resistance. I didn't change you too much because it's like, even though I guess I could have boosted your damage a little bit, but then I have to reduce that. But then, yeah, not too many changes here. I think Ankylosaurus is pretty useful for raids anyway. Here's a recent addition, Ankylomoloch, a dinosaur that was introduced and is full of bugs, just like I'm pretty sure every hybrid is going to have that now, and we're going to have to wait ages before they finally fix it. Hopefully, it's before they have another legendary tournament, because I really do think, because of this move specifically, you will be the Colhast counter, the Argentarix counter. You're going to be the ultimate counter to Phlox, and I really want to use you, but I cannot use you because this ability, for now, does not target all opponents like it says it should. Why does the team shield come down here? Oh, well. And then it's like alert instant shielded impact, does not even deal an impact, which makes it a lot worse than it should be. What I do here, I just boosted its armor, not health. I just fixed alert instant shield, so it deals the impact at least from here anyway. And then stunning alert is the same. Bone break, I gave you bone break, and I gave you more resistances depending on the resistances I gave these two, which is a bleed resistance from Bumpy, stun from the Ankylomoloch. Actually, you already had that. Never mind. Vulnerable, that's the way you were. These two are the ones I added. From one from Bumpy, one from Ankylomoloch. There were some other things that were on Ankylomoloch that I added that I could add to here, but it's like, nah, this is enough. This is already a pretty solid creature. Just add a few more things, fix its abilities, and then that's about it. Here's one of my favorites, Traego Distas. Back in the day, this was just one of my favorite legendaries to use, and now, you're absolutely pathetic. Honestly, why, if I really care about you that much, why did I not give you anything special? Hold on, guys, I'm gonna completely rework Traego Distas. It's worth it, because it's like, these abilities, they're newer, better abilities now. Hang on, I'll be right back. There we go, much better. I gave it group decelerating impact and group heal. Because before all I did was give it a damage boost, and an armor boost. So now I just gave it group decelerating impact and group heal. Medium counterattack was the same. I added that myself. Bone break, of course, from all the Ankylosaurs, and I just gave it a bleed resistance because all the Ankylosaurs should have some sort of bleed resistance. I think my logic behind that was because Camp Cretaceous Season 3, Scorpius is able to use its toxic venom against a ton of creatures, and the only one who could resist it was the Ankylosaurus due to their thick armor. So it's I wanted to apply that logic here, but I knew that Scorpius, it's technically supposed to be a resilient counter. Well, it's also a cunning creature, so I wanted to make them a little more resistant to the Scorpius Rex. So it's it just makes sense. And now that we've done Traego Distas, now I have to do Traego Distas Lux. This is the only hybrid I made. I know it's a lazy attempt, but it's Yeah, whatever. They're gonna make hybrids out of this anyway, so I might as well make my own. I made this a long time ago, actually. Slower than the regular Traego Distas, and but a little more powerful in terms of less armor actually, more stats, better attack and HP though. Group cleansing strike, group decelerating rampage, instant invincibility taunt, emergency group heal. Should I change that to alert instant heal? Nah, everyone's gonna have alert instant heal now. Counter power heal. Why'd I add that to you? Because you have it actually. And bone break. And also a damage reduction resistance, which it really only affects that ability. And also bleed resistance, deceleration resistance, taunt resistance, vulnerable resistance is all here. I didn't do a drawing on it, just imagine Traego Distas, except it glows pink. And then just has slightly different coloration. Except it's based off of the color of the actual Parasaurolophus Lux from Camp Cretaceous, not the ugly green one in the game. Honestly, I'm noticing that like Bumpy becomes green instead of blue, and then we have Parasaurolophus Lux, which has this ugly green, as I've mentioned before. But I don't want to complain about all that stuff, so let's just move on to the one apex I made, probably one of my favorite apexes, Achilles, which is based off of which Achilles? It's based off of an Achilles with like that really weird thing on its head, and here's the picture of Achilles. It's got that weird thing on its head. I think I have to redraw this one twice, but it's like, whatever, I like it. It is one of the slowest dinosaurs I've ever made, because it has loads of armor, max health, good damage, regular crit chance, except now let's look at its abilities. I have changed its abilities since the last time you saw it. Moving stuff around. Defensive Alert is a new ability I made for it, which is basically, while secure, cleanse reduced damage, cleanse crit chance reduction, shield by 50% for 1 turn, 4 attacks, target most positive effects, remove cloak, remove dodge. Does not deal damage, but then when it's threatened, cleanse all negative effects, shield, it gains it also gains a shield. It no longer cleanses it. It cleanses all negative effects. Okay, sorry, I didn't see that. It becomes an ultimate cleanse, ultimate nullify. This one just removes like the regular cunning things, and then down here it's just like, okay. Z Defense, this is an ability it used to be Sword and Shield, but I gave it a brand new ability. Or maybe I just renamed it, I don't remember. Taunt for 2 turns. Cleanse all negative effects, shield by 50% for 2 turns, 8 attacks, impose vulnerable for 2 turns, 1 attack. Oh wow, okay, yeah. Instant invincibility taunt, group instant invincibility, Z Breaker, this is your unique counter attack. Increase crit chance by 100% for this turn. Impose vulnerability for this turn, 1 attack. Precise attack times 1. Basically, the goal for Ankyles is that it has nothing but priority shields, and it relies heavily on its counterattack to deal like maximum damage with vulnerability and just crit chance. Like again, it always has a 100% crit chance. I also realized that it can. I don't think it'll be able to stack vulnerabilities. So it's like, maybe it's not as OP as I thought it was. Maybe it's too OP if the vulnerable does stack up. I don't think it will stack up or anything. But anyway, Bone Break. So if you try to run away from this thing, it'll obviously deal damage again. Does not have a bleed resistance like the other Ankylosaurs. So because I mean, can you imagine a bleed resistance with that much HP? That'd be maddening. And now its description. This is one of my favorite descriptions. So, some loud kid showed up yelling about a dino Achilles, and I guess a chief scientist liked the idea. Normally I'd find this strange, except something similar happened about 2 years ago, which gave birth to Valkyridon. I've basically made my own Beyblade Jurassic Cinematic Universe. Oh my gosh. Indominus and I, we've added so much to the Camp Cretaceous Cinematic Universe. It's like, what have we added? I mean, I've added Big Hero 6, I've added Amphibia and the Loud House, and then he's added the Monsterverse. And I think both of us together, we added Ark and Transformers. Actually, that was mostly New Orca. We're just adding so much, I might as well throw in Beyblade into the world as well. I'm making my own separate canon from Movies United, where everyone was already one big world. But anyway, guys, my throat is tired, and I still have, like, a bunch more videos to do here. So I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. You can probably hear my voice deteriorate between videos, except these are all out of order, so you probably won't. Bye.